Today I have a story. It's a story about a video game that has been astroturfed to the moon and yet somehow still found a way to fail. It's about a video game that was backed by one of the most biggest companies in the world, Amazon Studios, $1 billion company plus, and still failed. It is a video game that managed to pay millions upon millions of dollars to influencers. It's a video game that managed to get a dedicated Mr. Beast video about it for promotion. It's a video game that had everything any other video game would dream about to have, only for it to release and fail. It's a video game that's going to teach us today about the disconnect between modern day studio expectations and what the gamers actually want. Today, we are going to be talking about the video game that was backed by Amazon called King of Meat. Pause, by the way. Pause. We're going to be pausing a lot in this video.
Pause.
This video game was astroturfed to the moon, got a Jeff Keighley promotion, got a Mr. Beast dedicated video, was expected to hit 100,000 concurrent players just on Steam alone, and when it released, it did anything but that. So hit that like button, subscribe button, all that good YouTube algorithm nonsense, and comment down below. Otherwise, your view's not going to count. And well, to be honest with you, that sucks. Today, we're talking about a video game called King of Meat. Now, King of Meat is a video game that was backed by Amazon. It's a video game that is made from a studio called Glowmade, which is an indie studio that is in Guildford, UK, and founded in 2015 by someone of the name of Johnny Hopper, Mike Green, and Adam Sebek. All ex-Lionhead developers, people who worked on original Fable. From the start, they positioned the studio around creative play and user-generated content, with a design philosophy of Amazon's own feature on the game describes King of Meat as a fever dream of Glowmade's founders, with joyful creativity, UGC, user-generated content, as the core of the game. It's supposed to be a 1-to-4 player online co-op combat game built around dungeon runs and player-made levels, and it was framed as a twisted TV survival show in a fantasy corporate world of Lorgok, where contenders chase glory, money, and fame. Now, this game was initially revealed back at Gamescom of 2024. It officially unveiled during opening night live with a debut trailer and a simultaneous press push from Amazon Games and Glowmade, which described it as a hacking, slashing online co-op spectacle of 1-to-4 players, launching digitally on PS5, Xbox, Steam, etc., Nintendo Switch, and focused on user-created content of dungeon building using the same editor tools that the developers actually use. Amazon announcement also positioned the game as part of its effort to diversify the Amazon Games portfolio, highlighting Glowmade's emphasis on player creativity. So now that you guys know what was the actual backstory of this particular video game and who it was made by, I want you guys to understand before we talk about the numbers, because once we talk about the numbers, you guys are going to lose your mind from laughing so much, you're probably not going to be able to watch the rest of the video. So I need to keep you here as long as possible. I'm sorry.
Say over and over and over again, I hate being alive, I hate being alive!
Let's talk about the astroturfing. So if you guys are unaware, this video game got a promotional trailer that involved Jeff Keighley. It had a massive level of astroturfing and a lot of money that most indie developers never get, right? Indie developers are never known to be spending millions upon millions of dollars to pay Jeff Keighley for advertisement, and yet because this was backed by Amazon, because they thought they could astroturf this game and make it into a success, they ended up paying Jeff Keighley for a highlighted spot, and we're going to take a look at that video right now.
Welcome back to Gamescom Opening Night Live here in beautiful Lorgok.
Who's ready to roll? Live from the Construct Coliseum, it's time for everyone's favorite game, King of Meat! We joined recently kidnapped celebrity guest contender Jeff Keighley at the starting line.
Wait, starting line?
And that battle cry proves how committed Jeff is to any project. Let's check the Soch with our sideline reporter.
This dungeon is throwing everything at these contenders, but the JK machine is leading the way to the finish line, and the chat is blowing.
What is all this? Death traps, unapproved nicknames, and a giant horse trying to hoof me?
So before we continue the trailer, I want you guys to understand one particular part of that trailer that I found very interesting, is that they tried to involve the Twitch chat in that trailer. If you notice, a certain segment of that trailer showcases a Twitch chat at the top left, and that was their goal. That was their target. They thought that they can advertise this game, spend millions of dollars advertising it at Gamescom, and get this involved with streamers. They thought that they could AstroTurf this game to the point where streamers were going to pick this game up and start playing it like crazy to have silly moments for content. That's what they thought, or at least that's what I think they thought, because looking at the way that they advertise this trailer, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But anyway, let's continue.
Trying to hoof me?
An eloquent and marketing-friendly description of the game, not to mention a perfectly timed transition to the world premiere trailer for King of Meat.
Ready for action? Ready for mayhem? Ready for gold and fame pouring from the sky? Challenges from the most twisted minds of the most ghoulish dungeon creators are transformed.
So I don't need to show you the rest of the trailer because that basically just transitions to an actual trailer that they already have available. But there was a particular part at the end of the trailer that I want to showcase to you. Check this out.
Welcome back to Opening Night Live for real this time, and that was the announcement of King of Meat, an online co-op spectacle for 1 to 4 players from Glowmade in Guildford, England, and Amazon Games for console and PC. And you can sign up at kingofmeat.com for future playtests.
So you can see that announcement right at the end that Jeff Keighley obviously was paid to promote this video game, and he was probably paid a good amount of money, a hefty amount of money to promote this game. And keep in mind, as we're talking about this, this is supposed to be an indie game from an indie studio that is supposedly backed by Amazon. There is nothing indie about it, and it proves that no matter how much you AstroTurf a video game, no matter how much you try to pay for success, you are not going to garner success if people do not find your video game to be interesting in the slightest. So now let's talk about the second level of AstroTurfing, and this one is even more egregious than the first one. So they not only paid Jeff Keighley to advertise this video game, but they also paid Mr. Beast for a dedicated video on this video game. This video from Mr. Beast was released in Mr. Beast Gaming 2 months ago to the astounding 7 million views on this video, and yet it resulted in absolutely nothing for this game. Nothing for Amazon, nothing for Glowmade, nothing other than money in Mr. Beast's pocket. Check this opening video out from his video. Check it out.
I challenge the biggest creators on YouTube to try to beat this game for $250,000.
Let's go!
Run!
I separated these 8 teams into their own lobbies, and the first 4 teams to make it to the end together will move on.
Just lock in. We got this.
Okay, make sure you're sprinting. All right, trampoline, jump. Good. All right, here we gotta break it. We gotta break this wall to open it.
Yep, nice. Keep going.
You need everyone on the platform.
Stop. Keep going. Let's go.
All right, there we go. Now you can move on.
Carl, come on!
We're on the platform.
So far, no teams have finished. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a phenomenal set, and we literally have 32 creators here.
There's fire, just go around.
Oh my god, that was clutch!
So not only did they pay Mr. Beast to do a promotional video, but they also paid Mr. Beast to set up a custom set for this video, and they also paid for 32 influencers, if you even want to call them that, to play this game in this video to have a competition and promote the video for the entirety of it. This is absolutely insane levels of attempted AstroTurfing that I have seen in gaming in such a long time. The amount of money that Amazon threw at marketing and advertising this game is obscene, and now you can kind of get the idea of why they thought this game was going to hit 100,000 concurrent players on Steam. They were hoping that by paying people like Mr. Beast and paying people like Jeff Keighley and trying to get streamers involved, that this was somehow going to become the next party game, the next streamer game. And that's what Amazon was aiming for. So now that we know the entire history of the studio and we know the amount of AstroTurfing that the game received, now we get to talk about the numbers. And this is the most important part about all of this. So if we go over to SteamDB, and please try not to laugh, and if you do laugh, please make sure to stick around on the video because I need my view duration. Guys, this is so insane. This video game got millions upon millions of dollars of AstroTurfing, and yet this game only managed to hit 26 days ago 320 concurrent players on Steam. That was the maximum this game was able to reach, even with a Jeff Keighley promotional trailer and a Mr. Beast dedicated video. By the way, there are other streamers that also got paid to play this game, and it managed to only hit 320 concurrent players on Steam. But that's not the end of it all right? The hilarious thing about all of this is that when you click the max, if you click the max on Steam, you start realizing that when the game released, it actually released to 253 concurrent players on Steam. That was the highest that it released to. So where did the 320 number come from? Well, if you go into this big spike over here, you realize that the 320 number was actually when they were forced to release the game for free on a weekend because it was getting felted throughout the entire week. They had dropped within just a couple of days. They dropped from 253 concurrent players all the way down to about 24 concurrent players, only for them to realize they have no choice but to put the game for free back on Steam for the weekend. And that is when they hit 320 players. So even when the game was free, that is when they hit 320. And this is from a company that expected 100,000 concurrent players on Steam. What the fuck? So now that we got our laughter out, I hope you're able to contain it for the rest of the video, because now we got to talk serious. Now we got to talk business, and we need to understand what the hell is going on here, right? So Amazon is a prime example, and I'm so glad that this happened, because they're a prime example of the mindset that a lot of AAA studios have, which is throw money at it and hope that it sticks. These studios are throwing money at things left and right. They're being extremely mismanaged. They're following trends instead of making trends. They are spending so much money, blowing money left and right, and then complaining how they have to raise prices because things cost too much. These AAA studios don't quite understand what exactly makes a gamer want to purchase a video game or play a video game or whatever. And keep in mind, guys, speaking about purchasing, this game released at $30. This is a $30 video game. I want you guys to understand that we live in a world where Hollow Knight Silksong is a $20 retail video game, and meanwhile you have a game like this that is AstroTurf to the moon trying to charge you $30 for what? What are you spending $30 on? The lowest recorded price this game ever was $7.49, but when the game released, they tried to get you for $30 on this game. It's insane in my opinion. So they expected over 100,000 concurrent people to pay $30 for this game, and I guarantee you that even at 100,000 concurrent players, this game, with the amount of money that they spent marketing it, would not have been successful even with that number. Could it have been manageable? Sure, of course. But would it have been successful? Absolutely not. It would have taken much more than that. The 100,000 was their minimum goal target, and they didn't even get anywhere close to it. 320 concurrent players on Steam is abysmal, right? We have seen other video games that charge the same hit way more numbers. And then you have to start asking the question, and you have to start talking business, and you have to say, well, when are we going to sit and realize that this was probably a really bad idea? When are we going to sit and probably have the conversation that whoever the hell was our analyst, or whoever the hell was the person telling us that XYZ was a good idea and this is how you got to market whatever, whoever that was, maybe we should fire them, because it's very clear that that didn't work. It's very clear that this is an absolute joke, and whatever they were thinking was going to happen from this, it's very clear that they completely missed the mark. And unfortunately, it's because they don't understand what gamers want. They don't understand what gamers are looking for. Gamers are looking for video games that aren't just a trend style video game, right? Yes, do we see streamer video games succeed? Of course. But if you guys notice, a lot of those streamer video games, the party games, the 1 to 4 player co-op games, those games succeed because they are naturally successful. They are organically successful. They're successful because some people are playing the game on Twitch or whatever, or on YouTube, and then their fans start seeing it and realizing how fun it is, and then they want to get in on it, and before you know it, everybody's playing this game with their friends because they're naturally organically pushed, right? They're just successful because they're fun. They're engaging. They're a good time. This video game seemed to be anything but that. This game was pushed by everybody possible, had all the money behind it in the world that every indie developer just dreams about having, and yet they still were not able to get anywhere close to the numbers that some of these other party games have done, right? Look at RV There Yet. RV There Yet was a video game that I personally played with the SNH crew, and this game naturally succeeded. Unironically, this game hit just right at 100,000 into concurrent players 2 months ago. There are still 9,000 people playing this game right now in a 24-hour period. And what did they charge for this game? They charge $7.19. This is what I mean by when I say that the current price point, the hot price point, is $20 or less. I know these studios don't want to hear it. I know these AAA studios can't stand the thought. But the truth is that $20 or less is becoming the norm. And my prediction of that price point has been backed by multiple outlets that have proven that $20 to $25 or less is the current new hot point. And if you try to release a video game that looks like it should be $10 and you're charging, $30, $40 for it, people are not going to buy it, man. How could you expect that level of success at that level of a price point when you have this video game RV there yet that offers a super fun 4-player co-op experience for $7? And they were smart enough to know that since they're successful right now and they're pushing a lot of units, hey, let's put the game on sale for 10% off to charge $7.19. It's insane, man. These people, they really don't get it. Amazon does not get it, man. As mentioned previously, even Hollow Knight Silksong is a video game they released MSRP at $19.99. They never put their game on sale because their game was massively successful without ever having to go on sale. Everybody knows that the game hit an all-time concurrent player count of 587,150. And do you think they would have reached that number if their game was $70? Absolutely not. They reached this number because they offered an insane amount of content, high quality content, well-crafted content for $20. And that is the reason why they shot up all the way to almost 600,000 concurrent players on Steam. It's a combination of things, and Amazon just thinks they could throw all the money in the world at XYZ influence that have no real influence whatsoever and somehow are going to get a 100,000 concurrent player count on Steam. Even video games like Ball X Pit, which is one of my favorite games, by the way. The game is super crack, by the way. 35,000 concurrent players on Steam 2 months ago, and it reached that organically. And what was their price point? $14.99. They still haven't put their game on sale because they've been pretty successful at the $14.99 price point, but still $14.99. They didn't charge $30. They didn't charge $40. They charged $15 for this game, as they should, right? So this is why I want to drive this point home with this video. Yes, we can laugh at this situation, obviously. Yes, we can make fun of Amazon being stupid to think that they were actually going to be able to AstroTurf this game. But the truth is that this is kind of sad. The truth is that if you look at these games and you look at these numbers, you realize that this is actually really sad, because this is the mindset that a lot of the AAA studios have. And this is why we end up getting garbage that is trying to overcharge us for that garbage. The truth is that this video game, when I'm looking at the trailer, didn't look awful, right? But it didn't look amazing. It looked like a game that should be $10. That's my honest opinion. It looked like a game that should be $10. And I think that if it was $10 and it had that low barrier of entry, I think they would have hit at least probably 10,000 concurrent players on Steam. I think they would have hit a lot more people, and then those people could have spread the word of mouth. Maybe they would have thought the game was fun. Maybe they could say good things about the game, and then you can have an organic growth like these other indie games are having. But these morons thought they could spend millions of dollars on Jeff Keighley and Mr. Beast and somehow AstroTurf their way to 100,000 concurrent players on Steam without any real organic growth whatsoever. And the truth is that gamers felt at them. Gamers reminded them that that is not how things work. And I'm glad it happened to a studio that is as big as Amazon, that it can absorb that level of loss, because then they can realize how stupid they actually are. But are they going to change anything? Probably not. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. Amazon is the studio that had one of the most successful games on Steam by the name of New World that I personally played as well for hundreds of hours. I enjoyed New World at the beginning, but to be quite frank with you, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball completely on that MMORPG. They had a really good thing going for them. New World hit almost 1 million concurrent players on Steam at the time of release, and then unfortunately just completely died off. So it just is what it is. Amazon, I think, has proven that they don't know what the hell they're doing with video games. I think they should stick to online retailing, and at this point, this is no surprise as to why they pulled out so much money from Amazon's MMORPG market, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out even more money from Amazon Game Studios as a whole. So you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this game, King of Meat? Pause, by the way. What do you think about the AstroTurfing attempt between Jeff Keighley and Mr. Beast? Comment down below. Otherwise, your view is not going to count, and that always sucks. And I will see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.